Welcome back to the news at 10. The European Union has softened its stance on Britain's proposal to extend the date of its withdrawal from the continental bloc only if the UK Parliament approves the current withdrawal agreement in a vote next week. Let's now join Joyce Ohaja in London for more stories on the foreign scene.
Good evening from the Channel's newsroom in London. Hundreds of people are now known to have died in what's being described as one of the worst weather disasters to hit the southern hemisphere. But almost a week after Cyclone Idai made landfall in Mozambique, the total loss of life and full extent of the damage is still not known. Dani Vucinovic reports.
Rising floodwaters are hampering rescue efforts. The fastest way to reach those stranded is by helicopter. Clinging to trees and perched on rooftops, they patiently wait for help. Dangerous crossings and damaged roads make it difficult to deliver aid. Some travel by foot, trying to reach those in remote areas.
We don't have anything to eat here. No food, nothing. It's a problem. At night we don't eat. We don't even have a blanket to cover ourselves with. We only have the clothes we're wearing.
The cyclone destroyed almost everything in its path. Mozambique was hit hardest, but Zimbabwe and Malawi are also suffering. It's thought more than 2.5 million people could be affected across the three countries. The United Nations fears the full horror of the tragedy is yet to emerge.
The biggest challenge for the moment is access. Basically, what our colleagues say is that it's all what they see all over is water. You see water. If people are lucky, they're on the roof, the rooftop of the house, and they sign, they ask for help. But a lot of other people that we know nothing about for the moment are not as lucky as that.
Next step.
Zimbabwe's president travelled to some of the flooded areas to assess the damage.
There's the road there somewhere.
We need to make sure we understand the quantum of devastation in order for us to mobilize resources.
The European Union has pledged an initial aid package of almost $4 million, while the UK has promised up to $8 million. Dani Vucinovic, Channel's Television News.
The first funerals have been held in New Zealand for victims of last Friday's mosque shooting. Hundreds of people gathered to pay their respects as the bodies, wrapped in white cloth and carried in open caskets, were laid to face Mecca. Students in Christchurch performed a memorial haka to honour those who were killed. A 2-minute silence will be held on Friday, marking a week since the terror attack. At a school directly affected by the death, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern asked for help to eliminate hate.
Racism breeds extremism, breeds some of the things that we unfortunately have had visited upon New Zealand. And so this is my request. I alone cannot get rid of those things by myself. I need help from every single one of us. And so if we want to feel like we are doing something to make a difference, yes, show those outpourings of love, gather together, send that strong message, look after one another, but also let New Zealand be a place where there is no tolerance for racism.
Hundreds of Palestinians marched through Nablus for a funeral procession carrying the bodies of 2 men who were killed during an Israeli raid in the occupied West Bank. Israel says the men were shot after they threw explosives at officers who were stationed at an entrance to a Jewish shrine. The British Prime Minister has asked for an extension to Brexit. The UK is due to leave the European Union on March the 29th, but in a letter to the EU Council President, Theresa May has requested a delay until June the 30th.
As Prime Minister, I am not prepared to delay Brexit any further than the 30th of June.
We're now in the midst of a full-scale national crisis. Incompetence, failure and intransigence from the Prime Minister and her government have brought us to this point. Parliament has rejected her deal. It's rejected no deal. The Prime Minister now has no plan.
And finally, a very Australian problem. Trying to escape the extreme heat, a koala found its way into an air-conditioned car. Getting it to leave wasn't easy.
Can I get you to come out of my car, please? Come on. Hey, buddy. going to go out the other side now? No, not up the front. Can you please? Come on, hop out the car. I know it's nice and cool in here with the aircon. No, don't go up the front. No, don't climb up there. Mate, what are you doing? Oh, man, you're strong. Come on, buddy. You're tearing up my dash. Go. Oh, thank goodness. How many times has that ever happened to you?
And that's your international news around the world in 5.
Time now for some sports news. And Libya have beaten Nigeria 2-0 in the first leg of the CAF Under-23 AFCON qualifier in Tunisia. Now, the junior Mediterranean Knights took the lead in the 6th minute before sealing victory via a sleek counter-attacking move in the 69th minute. The Olympic Eagles were reduced to 10 men after goalkeeper Adamu Abubakar was sent off for handling the ball outside the box. The return leg comes up on Monday, March the 25th at the Stephen Keshe International Stadium in Delta State. And Nigeria's under-19 national team has set one foot at the Cricket World Cup after upsetting tournament favourites Uganda with 30 runs to remain the only unbeaten side at the African qualifiers in Namibia. Samuel Mba totaled a priceless 56 runs off 135 balls, supported by Sylvester Okpe with 26 runs as the best performer with the bat for Nigeria. Uganda could only manage a total of 80 runs, all out in 25.1 overs. And that's a wrap in sports news. The news at 10 continues shortly.
Thanks a lot, Ayotunde. And the main news again. Senators today engaged in a heated debate over the deployment of the military in the 2019 general elections, with the lawmakers divided along party lines. However, after tempers were calm, the upper legislative chamber was united in its condemnation of what it describes as the militarization of the polls. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thanks a lot for staying with us. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Do have a good night.